All right, students. I know that we are already experts at solving equations. But when we throw decimals into the equations, we get a new challenge. And that is using positives and negatives on our calculators. Every calculator works differently. The way that I key things into my calculator might not be the way you put things into your calculator. It'll take some patience and practice. That's what these equations will give us. For number 1, I'll finish with y on the left and my answer on the right. I don't want y's on the right. Let's get rid of that 6y from both sides. 9y minus 6y, then copy. 6y minus 6y is 0. Don't forget the 11.1 is negative. Now we move the 6.9. The inverse of subtraction is addition. And here's where we must be careful on our calculator, because entering negative 11.1 and then adding 6.9, well, that works different from calculator to calculator. On this calculator, I enter the 11.1 and then I use this key to make it negative. Other calculators, you type the negative in first and then type in the 11.1. Now I want to add 6.9 and I get negative 4.2. So far, so good. Now to finish my problem, I must divide by 3, giving me a final answer of negative 1.4. Again, you'll have to practice with your calculator. Practice on this very problem and see if you can key things in to end up with that good final answer. For number 2, let's again finish the problem with x on the left and my answer on the right. So get rid of this 200x from both sides. (100 minus 200 is negative 100x. Then copy and copy. Next, I want to move the 0.81. The inverse of addition is subtraction. And copy and combine. Now again, this gets tricky. How you combine things on your calculator may be different than the way it works on this calculator. You'll have to practice. What I need is 0.67. That's 0.67, make it negative. Again, on your calculator, you might hit the negative key first and then type in the 0.67. Then I'm subtracting 0.81. Subtract 0.81 and end up with negative 1.48. You should practice that on your calculator and see how it keys in on yours. It might have to be keyed in very differently than the way I did on mine. Now for my final answer, I divide. Negative 1.48 divided by 100 negative equals. A negative divided by a negative should be a positive. So it makes sense that my answer is positive, 0.0148. If this decimal terminates, doesn't repeat, then show me the whole decimal, just like that. Now, I know a calculator is a wonderful tool. It does a lot of the work for us, but it should never replace showing your work. On your homework problems, show your work just like this. Circle that final answer. Let the calculator do the computation for you. In this final example, I will again end up with my variable on the left and my answer on the right. I notice in this problem that this m has a 0.7 in front of it, while this m has nothing in front of it. I know that means a 1. Now, if I don't want m's on this side, I must subtract 1m from each side. Can you do 0.7 minus 1 in your head? If not, on a calculator, it's 0.7 subtract 1 is negative 0.3. And copy, and copy. Now I'd like to move the 13.8. The inverse of addition is subtraction. And copy. And careful when you combine here. That's 2.16 negative subtract 13.8. Finally, we divide. We're dividing a negative by a negative, so my answer should be positive. Negative 15.96 divided by 0.3, make it negative. And when I divide a negative by a negative, I get a positive. In this case, positive 53.2. All right, there's the way I want you to show your work. It's your turn to go and practice. I've enjoyed working with you. I'll see you soon.